Senior housing in the United States has gotten really unaffordable and in some cases undesirable. I'm going to show you in this video a new option here in Guadalajara, Mexico. It's called Via Plata Independent Living, and it's a 55 plus independent living community that is both affordable and really high quality. So join me over at Via Plata. So here we are inside one of the units at Via Plata in Guadalajara, and I've got my favorite senior living expert with me, Kerri, and also Rodrigo, who is part of the leadership team here at Via Plata. So let's just have them introduce themselves really quickly so you know who's going to be part of the video today. And actually, we've got some other folks that are going to be joining us later on.
Hi, I'm Kerri Moon. I have a company called Retire Internationally, and my job is to help people from the U.S. and other countries outside of Mexico find quality, affordable housing that matches their needs and personality here in Mexico.
Hi, my name is Rodrigo, and I'm with Grupo Corey. We have different housings, different types of housings. One of them is the 55 plus independent living, assisted living, and memory care. We've been doing this for more than a decade now. Our mission is to help improve the quality of life of everyone who goes through our company. Not just the residents, but also the people who work with us, our suppliers, our community, the stakeholders, everyone who gets involved with us has to be better off with us than without us. So that's what we're aiming towards. And this is just the start. We're thinking of a big plan ahead. We want to help many communities, help many families improve their quality of life, not just for the residents, but also for their family members as well. We're starting here in Guadalajara, and we want to expand our residences throughout the country. And this is just the beginning.
So I spent the night here last night, and definitely this is high quality. I can tell they're definitely feeling that mission statement in the products that they offer. And we're going to talk all about this place here, which is independent living and also rental units, corporate housing. So this area here is not just kind of an isolated thing, which I think a lot of independent living tends to be isolated. So I didn't feel isolated at all. I took a nice walk through the forest this morning. But before we get into the details here of this independent living, that's where we're going to focus on this video. We'll also touch on assisted and memory care. But let's talk about why Guadalajara. And first, actually, I'm going to start with Kerri, and then I'm going to get Rodrigo in too on this one.
I came from a background of doing placement to senior housing in California, and I realized that because the costs were becoming prohibitive and the models themselves weren't really desirable for a lot of the retirees I was dealing with, we started locating these small kind of quaint places in small towns. And now we have the opportunity to offer a product, a beautiful place that's in Guadalajara, that's affordable. It's a much lower price point, but offers a lot of the amenities that Americans want, but in a much more desirable fashion. We're very close to high-end shopping, opera, theater, anything that you could want from an urban environment. Even though there's kind of a secluded feeling, all of that is within 15, 20 minutes drive or Uber from here.
I grew up here in Guadalajara, and there are plenty of benefits that you can take advantage of. So I, for example, play golf sometimes. There are 10 different golf courses. If you're traveling frequently, there are direct flights internationally. We have obviously the mariachi, tequila. There's many places. We have beaches like Puerto Vallarta, a couple hours away. There's mountain places 2 hours away. There's a Chapala and Ajijic really near. So there's plenty of activities inside Guadalajara and around it.
Yeah, I really like Guadalajara. This is just my second visit here, and I've really started to like it. It's very bikeable here. Actually, there was a bike race going on yesterday as we were coming in. There's just so much to do here. And it's like a big city. It's like someone was comparing it to LA. I would maybe compare it more to Chicago. There's a lot of culture here, there's just a lot going on, and we're going to be focusing on the independent living. So the people who are living here now spend a lot of time getting out of their house, out of their apartment, and spending time enjoying everything that's around in Guadalajara. So if you've watched this channel a lot, you might have met my mom on this channel. She lives in a 55 plus community in Wisconsin, and so this is that's my yardstick to judge things by. And we're going to talk about pricing and all that kind of stuff too. But I want to get an idea of, she's in a 55 plus community, and this is more similar to independent living, but there are some specific details. So there's additional amenities here. But I'm going to have Kerri come in and tell us about specifically how things are the same or different in the United States or Mexico when it comes to those specific terms.
So some of the terms are a little bit hard to define because in the U.S., we use terms that are largely defined by state regulations, what we can and can't do there. Mexico's a little more open in that way, so the terms aren't directly correlated. What Villa Plata has to offer is basically a 55-plus community, but many people live without needing any services. They're just living in an apartment, but that is supported by people helping connect to goods and services, be here 24 hours a day. If you were having an issue, there's a nurse on staff to help assess if you're having an issue, whether that's something you just need to take aspirin and lie down, or you need to go to the hospital, but it helps you avoid any unnecessary visits to the hospital and keep the costs low by having a professional help you in those moments. So it's basically a supported 55 plus community. It could be, the term could also be independent living. And then at a separate location not far from here, there's assisted living and memory care, which we'll visit. So this Villa Plata can take you through independent living all the way through any needs that you may have going into the future with the same leadership team.
So Kerri touched on a couple of the details about Villa Plata, but let's dig in with Rodrigo to hear more of the specifics of those what you're going to get beyond just an apartment.
There are nice apartments here, but we're not just that. There's so many hours spent behind. We've invested a lot of time, effort, resources, and thoughts with experts on the matter on how to really design a place and services around the place where everybody can really improve their quality of life. So one of the big issues that we're trying to address and help is the wellness. So we have a lap pool where you can swim every day. It's a heated pool, so you can do it all year long. We have a very well-equipped gym, and you have a personal trainer 3 times a week. You can choose to work with him, or he can give you a routine, a development plan. You can do it on your own. But you have the facility of having an expert guide you through your health. We also have a restaurant, which is open every day from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can choose to cook your own meals on here in the kitchen, or you can do a restaurant whenever you feel like it. We also have a cinema room where you can watch your own movie. You can invite your friends and watch a movie together. You can invite your daughter, your family members. You can make the best use of that space in order to make the most out of it. Nadia, who we will meet later on, she's the person who runs this show. She's the one who makes the magic happen here, and she's the one who's going to connect the residents with each other. The new residents, help them include them in the groups who have interests in common. And for example, the cinema room, if they know of 2 people who have the same interest, she's going to organize a movie night with that special theme. So we'll talk more about it with Nadia. She's going to explain more details with us. One of the big advantages of living here is the woods. We have 25 acres of private forest. So any of you who like to go on hikes and bikes, we have 1 mile of private forest trails. You can, like Brighton did this morning, you can make just a 1 mile walk by yourself. You can do a group walk and hikes. We have also, outside of the complex, there's the Bosque de la Primavera, which is a protected forest, and there's 20,000 acres of protected forest, so you have no limits.
Yeah, I dipped my hand into the pool this morning and I was really surprised that it was heated because so many of the pools in La Paz are not heated during the winter. So really nice. We saw some people in the pool last night when we were out on a little scooter, a little golf cart driving around, getting a tour. A couple of the other things we saw was a co-working space. And as I mentioned, this is an intergenerational community here. So as someone who's living in the independent living, you've got amenities that are specifically for you, but you also have access to the other places like the other gyms in the facility, the co-working space, as we mentioned, the pools, and actually there's 3 pools. So there's a lap pool, kids pool, and a kind of a recreational pool. Looks like there was maybe a little hot tubby type area. They have happy hours here. There's a whole bunch of things that we haven't mentioned yet. And I'm actually going to go back to Rodrigo and have him cover any of the things, a few things about Guadalajara and a few more things before we move on to meet Nadia. And she'll talk more about the community here and what she does for the community.
One thing that I forgot to mention in Guadalajara is that we do have one of the top healthcare systems in Mexico. We have excellent hospitals, clinics, dental, and many of the specialties. There's many people who come across the country and internationally to Guadalajara to have their healthcare checked. And another thing, a big thing, is the security here in our complex, in Villa Plata Independent Living. There's a security gate at the entrance, and we also have another security checkpoint in the front desk. So you can be totally safe and risk-free inside our Villa Plata.
Yeah, so I want to address security because it is something that people think about when they think of Mexico, because it's a scary country, but it really isn't. And I have a video, it's up in one of these corners, I can never remember which one, that talks about security. But the gist of it, if you're not ready to pop over there, is that where foreigners choose to live is usually the very safe parts of Mexico. There are parts of Mexico that are very dangerous, and there are parts of Mexico that are much safer than areas in the United States. And because foreigners have the ability to move around and choose where they can live, almost always foreigners are, living in the safest parts of Mexico, including Guadalajara. There's a lot of the areas of Guadalajara where foreigners are living, very safe. And actually, speaking of medical, I've got another video. If it's ready, it'll be up in one of the corners from Lori. And she is a medical concierge. So she helps people who want to get services here in Mexico, foreigners who are coming in or people coming from other parts of Mexico, because as Rodrigo mentioned, this is the best hospitals in Mexico and probably some of the best hospitals in North America too. The doctors are often trained. They definitely interned in the United States. They definitely speak English. So there's a lot of medical opportunities. And Lori also mentions she's a single blonde woman walking around at night in her neighborhood in Tlaquepaque, and she feels 100% safe. So Mexico has a bad rap because of some very unsafe areas, but it's like if you focused only and thought about like the worst parts of Chicago and applied that to the entire United States. It's not the reality. And like I said, I mentioned I have a video about that. But let's go ahead and meet Nadia now and learn about some of the opportunities that are here for entertainment and recreation.
Before we meet Nadia, I just want to mention that we do offer the connection to medical services here in Villa Plata with the local hospitals, local doctors. We make sure that they can speak English, so you're completely covered on that area. And so let's go now and meet Nadia.
Hi, I'm Nadia. I'm the person who works most directly with the residents. I know what they need. I'm in charge of give them what they are expecting and go beyond that. And I take care of them and I care of them. And I'm in touch with their families and I transmit to their families what they are living here and what is happening here.
So we are here in Nadia's office, which is right at the entry to Via Plata. So she's the smiling face that you see every time you'd come home. But I want to hear why Nadia loves her job so much.
I love my job because it's very significant for me to almost save lives, change lives. Some of them were living alone and forgotten. And when they arrive here, they life change. And some of them, they already live in a community, but when they get here, it's completely different. It's like a new stage of their life. And I love to see how we improve their lives.
So let's hear a little bit about outings and happy hours.
I'm always seeking for explore new places. Once a month, we go out to anywhere that I look interesting for them. And like we went to El Teatro de Gollado, but in a private tour. I like to give them very special moments. I always get VIP tours everywhere. Like we went to the zoo and we were on a VIP tour. They didn't have to walk. We went on a golf cart to see the animals and the cubs with a personal tour, like VIPs. So I'm always looking for that to give them beautiful experience, the most unexpected experiences for them. We also have happy hours here at the bar on Thursdays. We go all together as a group and we talk about what we did in the week, during the week, and they spend a lot of good times here.
Sign me up for these tours. I want to go to art museums and zoos and things like that on a VIP tour. I love that that is a benefit here. But this tour is going to continue over at the assisted living facility. I think it's about 20 minutes away from here, so let's hop over there. Okay, now let's talk about terms, like how short or how long of a stay can you stay here in the independent living?
So what Rodrigo and his team really want people to do is see this place. It's one of those you have to see it to believe it kind of situations. So what we really want to encourage people to come down and see the place, and we can help you put together a long weekend or even a month stay, a 3-month stay to come and just experience it. And so do contact him and he'll help you find a way to do that.
Okay, before we wrap up the video, let's get into pricing. I know you guys like to hear numbers and also what different options there are in terms of how long you can stay and the different options in terms of units.
I just wanted to talk about the pricing because I know both sides of the border and especially how expensive it is in the big population centers. That here, the junior suite, which is the smallest independent living community, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, they start at 23,500 pesos, and that includes the apartment, the obviously all the utilities, activities, connection to the local goods and services around, a lot of the transportation, on-call nurse 24 hours a day to do those assessments if there's an issue, 6 days a week cleaning, dietist and a trainer to help you with your personal fitness goals 3 times a week. All of that is included in those prices. So you're really looking in independent living in those centers that I mentioned about a third of the cost. And when we get to assisted living and memory care, where the full care is included, 1 staff member to every 4 residents. So you're looking at really high level programming and care. For 60,000 pesos to 70,000 pesos. Again, about a third of what you would expect in these population centers in the United States.
So yeah, if you're looking for just taking a vacation down to Mexico, this would be a great place to stay. You could do a month here. You could do, as Kerri mentioned, a long weekend. Maybe you want to try it out as a snowbird and come on down and live here for 6 months. So they're really flexible. This is a newer facility, so there's lots of flexibility. They're also really good at taking feedback from their residents and tweaking things and changing the way things work. So come on down, give them your thoughts on what can be a little bit different, and they are going to like build out the transportation services if that's what people want. So lots of options here. And also, if you want to get in contact with these guys, you can go to the website, go up, I think it pops up in Spanish by default, but you can go up to the upper right and change it over to English. There's a contact form that you can fill out, or you can email Rodrigo directly. Give it a try. Let me know what you think of this place, and I'll see you in another video. Hasta luego.